Hi, friends. We're here for another episode of our podcast today. Christmas coming quickly, and it's not Christmas in our family without our family's Cappelletti. Cappelletti are typical of Ferrara, which is where I was born, and the recipe that I will be explaining you is not the pure traditional one. It's my family's one, precisely my mom's one. So it's a process that I do in 3 days, but the first day is really just cooking the meats in a broth, and that pretty much goes on by itself. Then day two, I make the filling and the dough, and then day three, I make the cappelletti, cook them, and eat them. So what I do as far as filling is I make a broth with chicken, beef, and sausages. Now, I do not use Italian sausages because here Italian sausages have fennel seeds, and fennel is an overpowering flavor, so you don't want that to be pretty much the only flavor you will taste. So because I haven't found, I'm not saying that there isn't, but I haven't found an Italian sausage that doesn't have fennel seeds, I use Irish brats, which is the closest thing I can find. By the way, if you know of any Italian sausage that doesn't have fennel seeds, let me know. Then in the broth, you add carrot, onion, celery, parsley if you like it. Those vegetables are not, and I repeat, not going to be in the filling. Then you let the meats cool down in the broth. Remove the meats, do whatever you want with the vegetables, refrigerate everything. Having the sausages and probably a little bit of fat on the beef, you will have the fat on top of your broth. By refrigerating it, it will solidify and you can remove it if you don't like it. Then you blend, put in a food processor, these three meats: prosciutto, good prosciutto, Parmigiano, not Parmesan, Parmigiano Reggiano, the most aged you can find, the better, finely grated, and then eggs and nutmeg. Now, the quantity of all of the ingredients depend on how many you're gonna make. For this, I will link my video recipe in the description so you can take a look at what the proportions for the meats, the Parmigiano, prosciutto, eggs will be. Then you make egg dough, so 00 Italian flour, Italian durum semolina, which is milled twice to bring it to the same fineness of the 00, and eggs. No water. Then you wrap it tightly and put it in the fridge. It has to rest at least 30 to 40 minutes. So if you make it the day before while you are making also the stuffing, that's going to rest quite a bit of time. As long as you wrap it tightly, nothing's gonna happen. I do highly encourage to make the stuffing the day before because all of the flavors will combine nicely. And then the day of, I normally go on and make them. So you roll the dough finely I mean the finest setting possible, because then you have to double the pasta, so you want to make it fine, and then you give it the shapes. Now, up here in Reno, it's so dry that we do few pieces at a time so that we don't have to wet the dough to make it stick. But I mean, if it's not that dry, you can actually make a few more at a time, and the process will probably speed up a little bit. Then you lay them on a cloth, as per my mom's words, in rows and lines, so that we can count them, because the portion is by number and not by weight, so you always know how many you're making. You can actually do this way ahead of time and freeze them in single layers. Then once they are frozen, you can group them in containers or in Ziploc bags. Just make sure that they will not break the tips of the cappelletti. The closing I do is much more resembling the tortellino as far as shape rather than the cappelletti. I will try and exercise on the cappelletti closing actually, but I don't think I'll have the time this year. This being said, you serve the cappelletti in the same broth you obtained cooking the meats. Now, the original cappelletti pretty much only have pork meats, assorted varieties of pork meats, and they are pan browned. But as I said, this is my mom's recipe and I will stick to that no matter what. Depending on what else is served in the same meal, and depending on how much the people eating will like them, 25 to 30, considering that they are very small, are normally a decent size serving. If it's the only food served, then they're not enough. Consider that the shape is normally about the size of a half of a quarter of a dollar coin. So that gives you the idea of how small they are. As said, they are supposed to be served in broth only. Then do whatever you want, but they should be in broth only. I guess that's pretty much all you need to know, except for the quantities. As I said, they are kinda listed in the video that I made. Oh, and one more thing, if you have leftover, I don't know, a little piece of salami, a little piece of rotisserie chicken, other type of cooked meats, you can definitely add them. They will add different layers of flavor, and for sure it's not going to be disappointing. I hope you will give it a try, and remember to check the video linked in the description. See you soon. Ciao.